Welcome, peasants, to the channel. My name is Cal. Today we're going to be talking about Edge of Sleep. This is not a video I would usually make. However, for those who know me, I am a huge Markiplier fan. I have Unis Honest hoodies. I have Markiplier hoodies. His humor has marked its way into my vocal patterns. I love Markiplier's content. I watched all of Unis Honest. I listened to Distractable. I am a huge Markiplier fan. So when Edge of Sleep was announced, I was incredibly excited. But there's something that's been like really weird going on with its release, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because it's just rubbing me the wrong way. So this video is going to be in 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk about the weirdness from Q Code and Amazon. Then I'm going to talk about the show in a non-spoilery way, and then I'm going to talk about the show in a more spoilery way. All right, let's get it. The show was released ahead of schedule. It was put on Amazon Prime. I think it was a few days before its scheduled October 18th release date. And ever since then, people have been hounding Q Code, trying to understand why they aren't releasing promotional material for the show, despite it having come out early with no anything, no fanfare, no tweets, literally nothing. So Mark released some stuff on Reddit and Twitter and eventually on his YouTube channel as well, talking about the show, trying to get some hype around it. It seems that there's some kind of deal or some kind of purpose to Mark needing to be in the top 10 of Amazon for a month. I don't know if it's to get Amazon to take him seriously. I don't know if it's like a bet he made with like Steve of Q Code. I don't know. I'm sure more information will come out later. However, people have been getting really pissed off at Q Code because they made several tweets basically like trying to neg Markiplier fans into promoting the show for them. And there was like a weird lilt, a weird sort of negative turn to their tweets. Let me see if I can find one real quick for you. One of the tweets they made at about 1 a.m. on the 18th says, "Tip, Edge of Sleep fans. People are lazy. Some casual people seeing the trending topic won't know the series or Mark and what we are talking about." Sorry, there's fucking spelling errors. "Including the link in your posts and bio to make Teary for them to check it out and watch. The less friction, the better, and the easier this will get to #1. And then tags Prime Video, Edge of Sleep. There were others as well. I'm having a hard time finding the other tweets. I should have screenshotted them, but I did not. Oh, here we go. Hold on. So some of the things that people have said. So like one of the reasons that people are upset is because of the way that they've been sort of replying to things. So you can see here, you have people asking like, why did it come out early in the US? Y'all are just good detectives. Soft launch went bigger launch. Friday's official. Have fun. I'm guessing you didn't get the memo of the early US release. And then it's like animals. And then it's just people kind of complaining, and they're not really giving any information, just doing like weird little fucking tweets. Soft launch Mark mentioned, so y'all know. Bestie, the marketing for the show has been abysmal. What the hell? Does everyone except for Mark himself want it to fail? What's going on? And then they're just kind of like, soft launch. Y'all found it because Mark mentioned it. So it really sounds they're like pissed off that Mark would have talked about the show that he worked on and acted in, like released early, and then nobody fucking knew about it. So of course he's gonna make content about it. That's his whole thing. He's a YouTuber. He has a community. He wants to show them the thing that they made. They also added a tweet that said, "Thought it would help explain. The plan was for a surprise announcement on the 18th. Today was a soft launch to make sure everything was working well. Then the link went wide and here we are, so now it is out there. We all hope you love the show. Everyone worked hard on it." Like, it's just weird, right? Like, it's weird, right? So the last thing I want to say about Q Code, and if you have any more information about this, please let me know in the comments below, and just like explain to me what the fuck is going on if you understand it, because I don't understand it. I don't get it. I wish I could be the person to be like, "Oh yes, Q Code is acting like a bunch of corporate assholes because they blah, 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 blah." But I don't know why they're being so weird. But we do have an apology from Q Code that was released on the r/Markiplier Reddit, which I will read for you now. It says, "Hello everyone. Want to apologize for how I came across in some posts on X and for the mistakes that were made. It's been a wild few days to say the least. On the first day when the show posted early, I was up at until 3 a.m. chatting with many of you, riding the excitement as we watched it climb the charts. I was trying to answer as many questions as possible, especially about the show, which, I mean, no, you didn't. You literally were not answering questions. You were, like, giving weird fucking half answers. Especially about the show being available only in the USA at first, which is unfortunately beyond our control. Many of us were having fun as we saw it trending on X. Yesterday, I made some mistakes, period. Around 1 a.m., while exhausted, I excitedly shared Thomas's incredible artwork that we had commissioned. We've worked with him on a lot of projects and knew people would love it. However, I unintentionally omitted his attribution, which is a big oversight. I didn't even know that. Right before bed, I tried to suggest adding links to the show in social media to catch casual X users who saw it trending so they could easily find and watch it. Unfortunately, my wording was unclear and the post was full of typos. This morning, I was embarrassed when I realized just how unclear and messy those posts were, so I deleted them. I understand the power of this community. When the Edge of Sleep podcast launched, I worked at Apple on the podcast team and watched as you drove it to #1 on the Apple podcast charts. When I suggested getting the TV show to #1, it wasn't about moving the goalpost, it was genuine excitement for the potential at what the community could achieve. The success of the podcast was actually one of the reasons, blah, 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 blah. I share all of this not as an excuse, but as context, hoping you'll accept my apology and understands that my actions were driven by enthusiasm, not malice. Thank you for understanding, I apologize. So, that's the apology, which feels really half-assed and like a non-answer. It doesn't really tell us why they're acting the way that they are. It doesn't really tell us anything. It's just kind of a, oops, I tweeted bad, sorry. So that's not helpful. But that's the weird stuff. Again, if you have information, let me know. I am incredibly fucking curious. But, on to the show. It's so good, dude! Go watch it! So, without giving spoilers away, the concept of the show is that when you go to sleep, you die. That's the base concept. That is like bare bones, starting off point. You go to sleep, you die. And the characters are trying to figure out why this is happening. And as the show goes on, they get more and more tired and things get more and more sort of out of hand. And there is a level of editing that I really, really love in this show, where there are a lot of moments where, like, especially during dream sequences, which happens a lot during the show, maybe a little bit too often. Some of the dream sequences weren't my favorite, but something that they did really well is that sometimes it would be like a character in a bed, and then it would be like, get up, you gotta go open the door. And then they would just be opening the door. There would be no transition of getting up, getting out of bed, going to the door, anything like that, because dream logic dictates that there's not a lot of in-betweens. You just kind of go from scene to scene to scene. And the show, with its editing, starts to kind of do that outside of the dream sequences as the characters become more and more exhausted. There's even like a counter for how like long they stay up, and like you get to sort of watch with them, and they do a great job with making the characters just look absolutely fucking just dead, just so fucking dead by the end. They're so, oh my god. I have never wanted characters to sleep on screen so badly in my life. I will say some of the writing and acting is just not my favorite. I'll get it out of the way here. I think that the actor who plays Mark's friend, I can't remember his name, the Air Force pilot, his actor, I think, does a really good job in the second half of the show, but in the first half of the show, his character feels really just annoying, and I think it's more a writing problem than an acting problem, but like the writing and the acting for his character, for me, just don't mesh very well. I think he's a good actor, and I think that especially later in the series, his writing is a lot better, but like the first 3 episodes, I just found him really annoying. I also found that there were like a lot of contrivances during like conversations. Like it felt like people were kind of saying things that people wouldn't really say, and they would say them in ways that felt like a little bit robotic. Like, I don't know if it's an acting problem or a writing problem, but just I would say the first 3 episodes are the roughest parts to get through. But you get through them because the concept is so interesting and what's happening on screen is so interesting that it kind of hooks you in. Oh, and the main theme song Amazing. I still have it fucking stuck in my head. Once you get through the first 3 episodes, which are good, I don't want to sit here and tell you that they're bad. I do enjoy them. I think they're fun. I think that they're, for the most part, well acted and well written, just with some parts that, like, I'm just kind of meh on. I mostly think it's, like, conversations between characters that really irk me in the early writing. But then as it goes, like, there's this really, really good scene between Mark's character David and another character. I won't spoil who, but they have a really, really good heart to heart and talk about some issues that I think are really important to talk about. And it made me really happy to watch them sort of talk through this problem in, like, a really healthy way that the audience could use if they're going through similar problems. I also like that they don't treat the characters as like, weak. They're actually, like, incredibly strong, especially towards the end. Incredibly strong. It is so stressful watching people try not to sleep. I have never been so enthralled by people sitting in a chair doing this. Fuck. Spectacular. Getting into spoiler territory now a little bit. If you want to avoid that, I would say click off here. Go watch it. It's great. Get a fucking thing. Give it a thumbs up. Get a thing. Get a free trial. Give it a thumbs up. Enjoy it. Watch it. It's great. Into spoiler territory. That was your warning. So the stuff with the dream people and the triangle is both exceptionally well done, while also being, like, confusing to a point where I couldn't really tell what the purpose of it was. And I still don't. The series ends on a cliffhanger. So there is, I assume, going to be a season 2 or something. I haven't actually listened to the Edge of Sleep podcast, so I don't know how exactly it sticks with that narrative. But from a viewer who has not been into Edge of Sleep and is just someone who likes Mark's works and likes horror stuff, I think that they did a really good job of making it a unique horror, a unique terror, right? Like, dreams are innately can be a pretty scary thing, but the horror of the show doesn't really come from the whales or the elephant or the dream people. At least for me, the horror comes in the last 2 episodes when the characters are fighting for their fucking lives to stay awake. I think the final count is, like, almost 80 hours without sleep, which is crazy amount of time to go without sleep. Like, almost an inhuman amount of time to go without sleeping. And, like, the sleep exhaustion sort of, like, drug trip vibes that start happening in the last episode, some of my favorite visuals I've ever seen in a show. Like, I could watch it all fucking day. Like, big differences where, like, fucking people are melting and like, colors are flashing, to little changes like characters' eyes being edited to be just, like, a little bit too big. Oh, it was perfect. So good. I think that it ends really well. It leaves a lot of questions. I want to watch more. That's what you want to get out of someone when you're making a series. And I like the characters, you know, like I said, I didn't like the air pilot quite as much in the beginning, but by the end, that's my fucking dude. I love that guy. After flying that fucking plane and doing all that shit, I can't even imagine what that must have been like for him. Oh my God. And, like, the things they had to do to try to keep themselves awake, like, that's a horrific situation. That's scary. Like, if you sleep, you die. Scary concept. But it's a lot more terrifying when it's 70 hours into not sleeping and you're 15,000 miles in the fucking air, you know? Or feet. Sorry. I don't know planes. And then the ending with the eyes opening with the triangles and fucking, I think her name is Katie, coming out of the water, like, with just, like, a look of pure fucking malice on her face. Oh, it was so good. I think they could have done more with Katie. I actually think Katie's actress was probably the best actor there. I think Katie was my favorite. Mark did a really good job, but I do have kind of a hard time not seeing him as Mark. But I think that he fell into his role really well by like the second or third episode as well. I really do think that it's just the beginning of it that it feels a little wonky to me storytelling wise, but it feels like they're trying to get you to the point where it starts to become more interesting. Um, and then there's the nurse. I can't remember her name right now. It's not coming to me. But the nurse, she did a great job as well. I really liked her character, and when she like is helping David in like the second half of the show, I feel like she brings a strength to her character that the other characters, like David, wouldn't have made it. Or Dave, is it Dave or David? I can't remember. But he wouldn't have made it without them. Like without the nurse and the pilot, he would not have made it to where he needed to be. He would not have been able to stay awake. They very much save him as much as he is the person that needs to get there for whatever fucking reason. I don't really know what's going on with the community at the end. I don't know who those people are, but apparently that ziggurat area is a safe place to dream. I think, is the elephant man elephant Satan? And Satan is killing people in their dreams? Because that's what I got from it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what's happening, but that's what I picked up. But I liked it a lot. I like the narrative. I really like the Madala fast, something like that. It's the drug that they take to stay awake. Like constantly shows advertisements and stuff during the showing of the show as well. Like from beginning to end, it'll just randomly pop up with a fucking Madafalast thing commercial, and I just thought that was great. I thought it was really well done. I liked their little mascot, just like a little fucking pill and what is it, like claymation. Really fun stuff. The visuals were my favorite. The acting and writing probably were not my favorite, but the story was cohesive and fun and weird. Just fucking weird. And I love weird. I love weird horror. I would say that it's more a stressful experience than a scary experience, but I think that horror can come in many different forms. I said earlier that I didn't really understand like the dream people and stuff, and I still don't, but I think that I do think it's a purposeful mystery. I just think that there's a little bit of frustration that I feel from not getting a full answer to everything by the end. But again, it's the end of the season, not the end of the show. So hopefully it will get renewed for another season and they will be able to make another addition to the story so that we can get those answers. But yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to talk about Mark's new show. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. If you like videos like this, maybe leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. I don't really make videos like this very often, so if like content reviews is something that you would like to see more of, please do let me know. And as always, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I'll see you further on down the trail. But until then, bye.